Speaking of Last of Us, how did like I feel like it's depending on who you are and how you feel about it. So episode 3, I enjoyed. I thought it was a beautiful story and well written and well acted, but I feel like it was so damn long. It could have been shorter. I even said, now I could be wrong about this, but I feel like if it was its own standalone movie that had nothing to do with Last of Us, it might have been better received or more well received. What do you think?
I think its biggest problem was that it came at the wrong point in the show. Like, we
Yeah.
were only on episode 3. We'd barely had any time with Joel and Ellie. Like, we needed to cement their relationship as two characters to really figure out where they're at, where they're heading to, how they relate to each other. And just as that was starting to kick in after what happened to Tess, like suddenly, boom, we're thrown into a
Yeah.
flashback with two
Yeah.
completely different characters. And yeah, individually, I think it was a really strong piece of writing. The acting was fantastic. Like, I defended the episode. I just feel like it came at the wrong time in the series. It probably should have been around episode 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And yeah, the fact that this isn't a long series, it's only 9 episodes, and 2 entire episodes are basically given over to flashbacks. Fleshing out backstories to characters that aren't around anymore. And that's a hell of a thing to do when you don't have much real estate to play with. I would much rather have seen more time developing the relationship between Joel and Ellie, maybe giving us a bit more of the infected, because damn, I forgot they were even a thing after episode 5. They just kind of vanished.
Yeah.
Again, we needed more of that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd rather have seen rather than this stuff.
Dude, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about the fact that you had just 2 episodes of Joel and Ellie, and then you just didn't have any more for like an entire episode. And then I don't know. I didn't finish it. I think I got to episode 6 or 7, but I don't know. The characters, a lot of it felt forced. The weird like commune area, a lot of the dialogue felt forced. That Kathleen character, I couldn't stand her. I thought she was just an awful idea. The actress and everything was just terrible.
Is that the woman who's like led the rebellion, and so she's like out to hunt them down?
Yeah, and even her bearded man that is her underling for some reason keeps saying, "I don't think we should do that, Kathleen. That seems like a bad idea." And she's like, "No, we're going to do it anyway." And then they all just die because she makes the worst decisions possible. Just seems
Yeah, I mean, I guess the show kind of grapples with the fact that she is a crap leader, and she shouldn't have been in charge of this rebellion. Maybe it's just that she finished the work that her brother started. I think that's what the show tries to imply. Like, he laid the groundwork for the rebellion against Fedra, and she's the one who saw it through. But then, she didn't really have a clue what to do afterwards, and look at the result. Everyone just got killed.
We're just gonna hunt this kid down for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, so not a great character. I think some of it was down to the actress just playing her like a middle school teacher or something. She was just like really homely and didn't really convey much threat or charisma or anything. And you think, well, how did this person become a leader?
That's what I said, dude. I'm like, well, why are you here? Like, if this was the real life, like let's say it's you, okay, it's a drinker, and you're in a post-apocalyptic world, and you're in the city of people, and you're the second in command. All right. And look, your perception would change if you're in this situation. You're the second command. You got a big old spaz shotgun that can blow somebody in half. And you got this tiny little lady that's like making terrible decisions. And she's like, tells you to shut your mouth. I'd be like, yeah, I'm just going to blow you in half. And then I'm going to be the leader guy now. Like, wouldn't it?
It's a brutal world in The Last of Us, and yeah, people when you're on the knife edge of survival, you can't really afford to pander to people who aren't doing their job properly.
Yeah.
And so I think you probably would have seen that pretty quickly.
Yeah, it does. It just felt weird. It's kind of why I didn't really care for the second game that much, because it felt really strange that every single character that was like a main character that was like fist fighting people and killing all these people and progressing the story was all just like a small woman, except for Abby, of course. But
yeah, she was most definitely not small.
Yeah, but like,
God knows who they're going to get to play her in the season 2.
I hope it's The Rock.
He's going to have to bulk up a bit if he wants to play that role.
The Rock Johnson as Abby. God, yeah. It was hard to get immersed into the second game because you're beating everybody's ass as like a 110-pound small woman, and then after you killed like 100 people in a building and cleared it, and you're progressing through the story, like right after you just slit some dude's throat, you walk outside, and then there's this weird dialogue where like Dina is like, "It's really beautiful out today, babe," and she's like, "Yeah, babe," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" You killed like 100 dudes against all odds, John Wick style somehow, even though you weigh like 90 pounds. And it all felt really silly, and I just couldn't get into it. I love the first game though, but I just couldn't get into the second one.
I think honestly, one of the strangest moments in that game was when you go out on a mission as Abby, and a heavily pregnant woman comes along with you, and she's like leaping across like big steel girders up above in some ruined factory, and like hitting a wall, and climbing her, like pulling herself up. And I just thought, yeah, show me a heavily pregnant woman that can do that, or that would even want to do stuff like that. It's like, no, I want to be like safe and back at base so I can give birth and like move on.
Yeah. Billy Hatcher has a good point. He says the fact that they had 2 filler episodes seems to be very boring. And filler episodes isn't an issue really per se, but it is an issue when the entire episode is just this random flashback or something, or a completely filler episode. And there are episodes like that in other shows. Like, what's a good example? That one about the fly from Breaking Bad, where Walt is just trying to kill a damn fly for like an hour. Yeah, I mean, they exist, but if they're well done and they, pertain to the story in some way, shape, or form, or progress it in any way, shape, or form, I feel like they can be done. But keep in mind, one of those filler episodes were very far and few in between in like big series like Breaking Bad.
Well, I mean, filler episodes work a lot better when you had the old days of like 22 episode seasons where there was just a lot of real estate to play with.
Yeah.
And that was a very different world. Like, Stargate SG-1 could have filler episodes because you had so many episodes to play with.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you've only got 9 and you've got to tell a fairly big story. Like the game takes you about 20 hours to get through if you're playing like fairly, rapid. And you've only got 9 episodes. They're about 45 minutes each, so that's nowhere near like the amount of plot that you had in the game. So you have to be pretty efficient with it, and to use up 2 of those episodes just to do flashbacks, particularly episode 7, which is just DLC. It's not even part of like the first Last of Us game. That is, that just smacks of narcissism, really.
Yeah, and it's all Neil Druckmann's fault, in my opinion. Everything is Neil Druckmann's fault. But it's like you said, like X-Files, for example, could totally have filler episodes because there's 24 episodes per season. But when you have 9, they all better be very impactful and very story driven and move the plot forward in some meaningful way. Because if they don't, then why are they here? They're like, that's a good point for the 3rd episode too, because it's like this love story that's just constant and long. And although it was done well, I feel like it was just too early on, and there should have only been 1 episode like that, and it should have been half the length. Like it popped in with Joel and Ellie, and then popped out with something else, then popped in and out, and came back and forth, so it was showing what was going on modern instead of just hours and hours. Because I like I said, I enjoyed the episode, but it's like you said, it was just too early on, and there were some times where it got too sexy, just too sexy. I was like, all right, like, you guys
too
are
much sex.
There was just like their beards are touching, and I'm like, I don't know what it is about beards touching, but it just hits me weird.
You know what's weird though, right? The guy. Not Bill, but the other one, Frank. The actor that plays him, I thought he would have been a much better Joel than Pedro Pascal. Like, if you look at him, he much more closely resembles Joel, and I just thought, damn, that's a missed opportunity right there. I mean, I guess, he's not as big a name as Pedro Pascal, so, that's why they went with him, but...
Yeah. Thank you, Holy Ozone, by the way. He said digging the sunglasses. I would wear mine, but... yeah, I got used to wearing them actually because it actually works really well with my lighting because it's so damn bright. But then I lost them again, so now I just don't have them again because I keep doing that.
Well, the thing is, I don't actually have eyes, so like this is just,
Tony,
just to hide that fact.
Tony says, "Please tell me Tatiana is a real person. If not, I'm gonna unsub."
Tatiana is a person I've had experiences with.
We all have a little bit of Tatiana's in our life. Cassius Cleo says, Drinker will drink the Fight Milk top notch videos from you, the both of you today. Thank you so much, Cassius. I love you and I appreciate you. And thank you for the giant, delicious pink boy. It's my favorite color to have on my face. And I really appreciate you, Cassius. You're goated as hell. But dudes, enough of the goddamn. I'm tired of Last of Us. Tired of talking about Last of Us because it just makes me angry. But I thought they were gonna. I thought after watching the first 2 episodes, it was gonna be so great, and it just kind of fell off. Every episode just fell off slowly, more and more and more.